My patience is starting to run really, really thin for Justin Herbert, but I'm not selling my Justin Herbert stock just yet because to blame him for the loss against the Packers is just not doing your homework. Keenan Allen drops a pass, drops a touchdown. Quentin Johnston drops a pass, drops a touchdown. He continuously never has his weapons. Mike Williams is out again. The offensive line is not as good as it used to be in recent years. Maybe they have more issues on the offensive line than they thought. And then the way you can tell if a coach is at least a competent head coach, maybe not win a Super Bowl, but a competent enough head coach is, does he get his side of the ball correctly? And Brandon Staley and his defense is awful. Tied for 8th most in points a game given up, gives up 393 yards per game. A second ago, we just talked about the Chiefs defense, who's one of the best in the NFL. This defense for the Los Angeles Chargers is 2nd worst in yards given up and 8th worst in points a game given up. Austin Eckler looks like he's still a good running back, obviously, but the burst is just not there anymore. It's just not there anymore. There's a clip on social media where a guy basically says, this clip is not slowed down, and it's just Austin Eckler taking a stretch to the left and just getting caught by linebackers, linemen, some safety, easily, with ease. He's moving his legs just slower than he used to. He's not as quick as he used to be. The offensive line's got issues. Quentin Johnston can't catch a pass. Brandon Staley can't help his defense. Keenan Allen drops touchdown passes. So if I'm not going to blame Patrick Mahomes for losing last night to the Eagles, then I can't blame Justin Herbert. I can't put completely on Justin Herbert that loss on Sunday, which was ugly. So here's what I will say. Justin Herbert, although my patience is starting to run a little thin, and it's not with Patrick Mahomes because he has 2 Super Bowls and he's been to 3, so I've seen it with Mahomes multiple times. I oftentimes see Justin Herbert struggle in big moments when they need a play. He's got no problem putting points on the board, but it's that situational football. He's just not great at it. So I'm not here to condemn Justin Herbert. I really like Justin Herbert as a franchise quarterback, but he's consistently put in this top 5, top 6 quarterbacks, and he's probably still in mine. But you got to win more games. You can't consistently lose games to Ryan Tannehill, Dak Prescott, and Jordan Love if you're going to be ahead in the rankings on those guys. So the haters are a little right on Justin Herbert because Brandon Staley didn't blow a 27-0 lead against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He wasn't on the field playing that game. Justin Herbert was. And Justin Herbert wasn't particularly good when they were blowing a 27-0 lead to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It doesn't matter how bad their defense is. You need to be able to protect a lead, stay on the field long enough to chew up enough clock. So it's both sides of the coin here. I'm still team Justin Herbert. I'm not selling my Justin Herbert stock just yet, but my patience is starting to grow a little thin. But when you bake in the Keenan Allen drop for touchdowns, Quentin Johnston dropping a touchdown, dropping a walk-in touchdown, Brandon Staley being a complete buffoon of a head coach, Austin Eckler does not look the same. The burst, the juice for Austin Eckler is not there anymore. And the fact that his front office consistently goes cheap on head coaches, the Spanos family consistently going cheap on head coaches, Anthony Lynn, the guy Brandon Staley, I lost his name for a second, Brandon Staley, Anthony Lynn. It only makes sense for the Chargers to fire Brandon Staley, see what they have in Kellen Moore, let that work and bake a little bit for the rest of the season. If things get better, maybe you get a cheap option again in Kellen Moore. But this Spanos family, the Chargers front office, is not going to change. They're not going to go get Jim Harbaugh. That's not who the Chargers are. They could have had Sean Payton this year. Sean Payton wanted that Chargers job more than he wanted to deal with Russell Wilson, who appeared washed last season, and go to Denver and rather stay in very sunshine and fun LA and have a quarterback in Justin Herbert who may or may not be better at this point than Russell Wilson. So when you bake in Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston, Brandon Staley, Austin Eckler, and the fact that the front office isn't willing to spend on head coaches to help their young quarterback, it's hard to condemn Justin Herbert. Although he has some sins on his record, the 27-0 blown lead to the Jacksonville Jaguars in the playoffs, that's on Herbert. You have to win that game. You can't blow that game. I still see it there. The arm talent is awesome. He's able to make throws that maybe 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the NFL can actually make. The Patrick Mahomeses, the Joe Burrows. Maybe you throw Josh Allen in there. Justin Herbert, big, strong, huge athlete, huge arm, can make all the throws. Sometimes you wonder what he's doing when he throws a boneheaded pick, but that happens with most quarterbacks in the NFL. You can't nitpick there. So Justin Herbert, still in my top 6 of quarterbacks. My patience is starting to run thin, but you cannot properly, above all the other issues of the Chargers, the front office, the wide receivers, above all other things, you cannot judge Justin Herbert until he gets a new head coach. Because Brandon Staley is the biggest problem for the Los Angeles Chargers. It's not Justin Herbert.